very special guest in the house today, Mr. Richard Big Dro Smith. He is owner of
Big Dro's Chicken and Waffles.
Oh, he was on. That's what I'm talking about.
Not and.
All right now. We asked about who you are, and you gave us some very good information. Actually, something that's just, I love a good testimony, you know, and I love to see what God can do, and He has done some awesome things in your life, you know what I'm saying? So now we want to talk about this vision that He gave you for this restaurant.
Before I left prison, the last year I was in prison, I wrote down a lot of things because, you know, I believe in, you know, when the book Habakkuk says to write down the vision and make it plain. And I believe in that. And so I did that. I did a lot of things, and I would often go back to it. And so last year, it just started off real small, and I just mentioned it, and I said something about it.
We just talked about those words last week.
Yeah, and I just mentioned it, and it started off as a little pebble, and it just started getting bigger. My mother bought me a waffle iron for Christmas because I had been talking about it. And once I got the waffle iron, that kind of just nailed it right there. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is it, you know. And I took the waffle maker home, and I started. I did my first batch of waffles, and I kept doing them, and I, you know, kind of start putting stuff in them, and, you know, creating my own little secret, you know, mix.
Sounds like somebody I know.
Yeah, and then I started working with different flavors of waffles, and we're going to have different flavors as well. We're going to put them out periodically, not at the same time though. Then I went, you know, I went to try to get a building, and someone else had it. I was so disappointed. I was like, God, you told me this. I don't know what's going on. And so at the time, and this is when you have to let go and let God. This is when you have to really believe on what He said and what He is trying to do, because the guy wanted $1,500 a month, which was a great price. It's a full turnkey restaurant, and turnkey meaning all you have to do is turn the key, everything's there.
Right.
But he gave it to another woman, and obviously she didn't make it. I came back to him, and everything had changed. He said, give me $1,200 a month. He said, give me first month, last month. He said, and I'll throw 2 extra months in.
I know that's right.
I don't have to pay rent until October.
All right, so let's get this thing kicking.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He's like, I'm sure you go somewhere and sit down.
I'm sorry. And, you know, everything, we just started putting everything together. My wife and I, it kind of snowballed, and before I knew it, I was telling my boss, see you later.
Ooh, I can't wait for that. Lord, I ain't complaining, but I can't wait. In the name of Jesus.
and that was a good feeling. And you know, I stepped out on God's faith, and I had to convince my wife a little bit. You know how y'all ladies are.
Yeah, we like security.
Yes.
That's right. We like security, and we like consistency.
But you know what the thing is, and I tell men this all the time, and I'm very adamant about this. I always say this: your wife will follow you anywhere if she can believe and trust in you, not for just that little one thing, but for things in the past. So I have a great track record
That's
with
what
my
I'm
wife.
talking about.
You know, I have a great track record. When I speak things to my wife, because I'm constantly speaking things to her, I'm constantly telling her how important she is to me, how much I need her. My wife has been so supportive through it all, through the $600 every 2-week unemployment checks. she was supportive because she believed that her husband was gonna. She knows.
Right.
And so, you know, when we came to these crossroads, and I set her down, and she was like shaking her head, and she was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm sure." And I think when it really clicked is when I went and purchased the building. When I went and purchased the building, and she walked in for the very first time, and then I saw her get her phone out, start taking pictures.
You like, I got her. Yeah, we know y'all.
Like, you love it, huh, baby? You look good, huh? You like this, baby? You're like,
He don't need me, Charles. That's dangerous, right? He don't need me, my husband.
Yeah. So today is her last day at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and we're looking forward to her last day. We did it, and you know what? I ran into a guy that I was, I done a little bit of time with, and I ran into him, and I was like, I own this restaurant across the street, and he was like, oh, you got a little money now, and we kept talking. We kept talking for a minute, and it kind of clicked in him. He was like, man, you're doing it big, and you're doing it. Say, how'd you do this? Mm-hmm. And for the life of me, I could not sit there and give him a definitive answer. I just said, man, I'm blessed, man. God, I said, God did it. Because at that point, I couldn't actually sit down and say, well, I did this and this.
You can't take any glory.
I can't, because listen, we did not have a lot. We had 3 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Amen. That's all we had.
Amen.
And God made it into what it is today, and that's why we're so humble. That's why we're so glad that God has looked down on us in grace and in love, and said, hey, you deserve this because you've been a faithful servant.
Right. Well, I want to talk about the slogan.
The slogan.
Slapping the taste in your mouth. Where did that come from?
Actually, my wife criticized it when I first told it to her. I'm the type of person that stuff just comes up into my head, and it's spurred a moment. Mm-hmm. And when I came up with it, she goes, no, that sounds like the Friday movie. Tastes so good, want to slap your mama. I said, it sounds nothing like that, and then she was like, oh, well,
she walking around saying, slapping the taste in your mouth, slapping the taste in your mouth. Because I originally wrote it, slapping the taste in your mouth. And then I went back and I was like, no. He said, slapping the taste in your mouth. So we got to change.
I think it was a brother of yours. He was telling me about the restaurant. He handed me a flyer and everything.
Which one?
Travaris.
Yeah.
He handed me the flyer and I read it and I was like, slapping the taste in your mouth. Okay. He was like, nah, slapping the taste in your mouth. You got ugly with it, slapping the taste in your mouth. I was like, all right, and that right there just made me want to eat it. It's like, this is really going to be some bomb chicken because of how he said it.
It is tested. It is tested and proven.
Amen.
I've given it to some of the most critical people that I could. And you know where you find the most critical people?
In church.
In your
church,
family.
in the family.
In your family. They are the most. Let me tell you something. When my brother first told my mother about this idea, my mother was like, I don't know about that. I ain't never heard of that. And so I went to her and I said, you've never heard of it? So I sent her on the internet, and there's 3 very popular chicken and waffle houses in the country, and she was like, oh, okay. But then when I invited her over to
sample
the waffles and the chicken and the side,
made mama believe her.
She even called me last night. She was like, what you cooking? I'm not cooking anything. I said, well, I got some chicken. She goes, and waffles? I said, no.
Before we want to talk about menu, but real quick, I know one of the things that you told me is that you want to be able to give back to the community.
Of course.
Do you have anything in your heart or any organizations or just, what ways or anything that any organization you've thought of already that you want to be able to bless or?
Nothing particular. My wife and I, we just, one of the things that's very passionate to her is the foster care, the kids in the foster care centers. That's very passionate to her. That's close to her heart. As for me, I've already signed up and been approved for prison ministry, and outside of that, we want to do school supply drives. Starting next year, we want to do that. We want to do, bicycles, Thanksgiving dinner. We'll open the place up and let people come in, and we'll fix it ourselves. And that's something that we want to do. We just want to be a presence in our community. We don't want to be that business that just sucks the community dry. And let me be controversial for just 1 second. Some of the most successful businesses in our community are not even owned by us. They're owned by someone else.
Right.
And they can care less about our community. They can care less about the people in the community. But there are people in our community that grew up here, have been raised here, have had businesses on these same streets for years, and has never done anything for the community. Has never tried to do anything for the community. So we really want to be that figure, and we're not going anywhere. We're not going to get big and move out of our community. I was raised in this community. I grew up in the old projects, and my mother bought a house in East Fort Myers, so I grew up in this community. We're not going anywhere. We'll get bigger, but we'll eventually go into other places as well, but we're not leaving our community.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Our goal within the next 3 years is to have a full-service restaurant on MLK, and we can do it. And we can do it. I know we can do it. As a community, we can do it. Our community needs something that they can be proud of, something that's clean, something that's good. You know.
That's what I love.
Yeah, because
when you're representing, because you're not just, you're representing God first.
Exactly.
You know, you're representing your family, you're representing everything. So when those doors open, you don't want to think, because I'm in a certain area, I don't have to worry about what it looks like, what it smells like, if the bathrooms are working properly, if there's tissue, you know, if there's towels to dry your hand. A lot of places you go in, if you know, it's like, unless you on the other end of town, you know, then you step up the standard. But why can't we set it here?
We deserve better than that.
Right. Exactly.
We deserve better than walking into some of these businesses in our area and you can't even find soap to wash your hands.
Exactly. Then that makes you wonder, what are the employees washing their hands with?
And what they doing to your food?
Nothing.
Exactly. But real quick, let us know. Give us just give us some things that are on the menu besides chicken and waffles. We got a few more minutes.
The chicken and waffles is just the concept. We have the sides is what make it. You know, collard greens, red beans and rice, homemade macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
And then we have your traditionals. You know, for like your lunch crowd, downtown lunch crowd, we have sandwiches. We have a chicken teriyaki sandwich with grilled pineapple, red onions. We have chicken Caesar wraps. We have salads. We have a beautiful mahi mango salad.
For people like me who trying to stay off the starch, it ain't working, Lord. I need some help.
We have a wonderful breakfast menu as well. Breakfast will be served on its own, and it'll only be served in the morning. And we have a lot of great items on there as well.
Okay, yeah, grits.
Pretty much. We have. Have you ever tried garlic cheese grits?
Oh, that caught my eye.
You know what? I did see that on the menu.
Yes.
You ever tried that?
I never tried.
Well, we will.
I just fed it to my wife this morning for the first time because she's not a big grits person, but she was like,
Look, we gotta go in. We gotta go in at least once a week for the first month, and we gotta take pictures of everything we eat and with our scorecard going on the report cards.
Yeah, of course. And we're gonna have one of my favorite dishes is it's called my po pimpin'.
All right now.
It's
explain that.
Yeah. It's well, I call fried chicken. Well, put it like this. When I was in prison, one of the best meals were the fried chicken. It only came around like once every 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
But when it came around, it was a big deal, and they called it the Barnyard Pimp.
Oh,
so it's the Barnyard Pimp. That's what we call fried chicken, the Barnyard Pimp. So I have a Barnyard Pimp platter. I have a Big Dro's Barnyard Pimp platter. It's $13.99. It has a wing, a thigh. It has a wing, a thigh, a leg, 2 waffles, 2 eggs, and I think it's a bowl of grits. I forget.
I wouldn't even be able to walk out of there.
All over it.
But then we have the po pimpin'. P-O-E, po pimpin', and that's a better rice with fried gizzards and gravy and onions, smothered with gravy and onions. And that's a very good meal as well.
Oh my goodness.
Po pimpin', they gonna name it Potrella.
Potrella.
Well, we got less than a minute, so I just wanna thank you just for coming in again. I hope you guys have enjoyed Richard Big Dro Smith coming in, letting us know about the restaurant that's going to be opening very soon, next Saturday.
The family and friends. It's Thursday night at 7 p.m. You're all welcome to come, and please bring everything. We only have a limited menu. It's 30% off, so please come and enjoy yourself on Thursday.
Give the address real quick.
3606 Michigan Avenue, right on the corner of Veronica Shoemaker and Michigan.
Okay. Well, we just want to thank you for tuning in, as always, to Divine Destiny Radio. If you missed any shows, please check us out. We are on YouTube. So, again, thank you.
Thank you all so much.